Warning: the following program contains language which some may find offensive. Some words have been censored just because of the times we live in. Listener discretion advised.
This message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere.
I will not have sexual relations with that woman.
I am El Nino. All the tropical storms must bow before El Nino. And what you gonna do when all the media in all parts of the world revolve on you?
Because some came in the mail today.
Yeah, I did.
These nuts. Got him. Now you
All right, we're doing it.
Is that already recording?
We are recording.
The whole time.
Steven, no, I just started.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to? It is recording, right, Christine?
She won't be able to tell.
Oh, well. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
So here it is, guys. We did it.
We did it.
Here. The Comedy SIMP podcast.
Yeah.
We're recording. Stephen Michael James. Scott Coburn, thanks.
SMJ, thank you for having me on, buddy.
Coming on the podcast. We're
Yeah.
here at the Whiskey Mile.
Whiskey Mile. Love this place.
Home of Sam's open mic.
My new favorite open mic.
Is it really?
Yeah, I really enjoy this one.
I do too, and that's why I kept coming back. Thank you to Sam for getting it started.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as a comedian, and we're going to talk a lot about comedy, is it's nice to be able to perform for people that are not other comedians.
Oh, hell
right?
yeah. It's the only people you want to perform for.
And
Performing for comedians sucks.
it rarely happens.
Yeah.
You know. So, dude, we pretty much started comedy at the same time.
Yeah, I remember your first set at Tony V's. I was there.
V's. Wow.
I think I'd been doing it about a week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry that you were there for that.
Yeah, no, it was good, man. It was fun.
Told the story before, but like I said, this is like the new Joe Rogan podcast. We're going to tell stories over and over again.
Great.
And before I started comedy, I went to Tony V's just to check it out because I had never been to an open mic before. I've been to one as a musician, but comedy, I said.
Yeah.
What is it like? Do the comedians tell the same jokes every week? Is it different jokes every week? And then I found out everybody is different. Everybody has a different style. And this was October of 22. And I'm pretty sure were you there at that time? Were you watching before you went up, or did you just...
Maybe I didn't see your first set, because my first set was in November 24th.
No, my first set was in December.
Oh, okay.
But what
okay.
happened is
Yeah.
I went to Tony V's for like 2 months and just showed up to watch.
Okay.
Which, hindsight, looking back on it, isn't that kind of weird that like somebody just shows up to open mics and they don't perform? And they're just an
yeah.
audience?
That's an audience, baby.
So,
Which is rare at Tony V's.
yeah, I know, right? There have been some good nights
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. I've had some good sets there.
But, you know, dude, you started right around the same time.
Yep.
Obviously, we got a huge difference in age. But
Huge.
you were born the same year as my dad.
Yeah. Am I the oldest person ever been on this podcast?
Right now, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
62, baby.
Yeah. Is that the case?
I think so. How old am I, baby?
Shout out to the owner.
61?
What's up, Ron?
61.
Oh, he just walked right through.
61.
That was the Whiskey Miles owner right there.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. 61. So I have a lot of, my dad and I, we're not super close. I mean, we had some rough patches growing up. Him and my mom divorced back in the early 90s, so a lot of back and forth, drug issues, that kind of stuff.
Was that Stephen, Michael, or James?
James.
Oh, James. Okay.
Absolutely. But no, he's a good guy. I have a really good relationship with him now.
That's good.
But it's nice to kind of it's really cool to kind of get a window into what things were like for him. And seeing as you're the same age, let's just talk about, a little bit of it. Like, you told me you've been sober pretty much since I've been alive, the early 80s, right?
Yeah, I got sober in 1982.
But you were born in the 60s.
62.
Do you have memories of that at all? Because to me, dude, I'm 38.
Right.
And when I think about 20 years ago, it doesn't seem like yesterday. To me, it seems like a different person a million miles away. I don't even know who that person is. And I have and honestly, I feel like maybe I've, blocked some of those memories. What's up? Hey, man. So can you remember back then? Do you remember
the
that
60s?
far?
I mean, the 60s, I just very spotty memory. The what I remember about the 70s is just, music, because that's what I was about. The 70s and 80s and fucking Bowie and Zeppelin and the start of punk and
so was
New
this?
Wave.
I know you lived in San Diego. Is that where you're from?
No, originally I'm from New England.
New England.
Yeah, so I was born like.
There's a New England.
There's a New England.
I think that's a joke from SLC Punk.
Is it?
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that movie. That was good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I got to watch that again.
I have multiple copies of it. Both me and my wife had a copy of that movie.
No shit.
It's individually when we met each other. So we're like, hey.
That's
nice,
nice.
nice.
One of my daughter's favorite movies is that movie.
Really? Nice.
Yeah,
it's good. I mean, especially, I don't know what kids are like these days. I mean, I do have a kid who's young, but like teenagers, when I was a teenager, I was very interested in seeking things out and looking back and music, movies, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what kids are like today, but for you said music was a big thing. So I assume the radio.
It was all over radio and albums.
Yeah.
Concerts.
So you went. Do you remember your first concert?
First concert was, who the hell was it? It was Stevie Wonder and Gil Scott-Heron.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And what year? What were we talking?
Fuck if I remember, dude.
70s.
Early
70s.
Mid 70s probably. Yeah.
And where was this at? Do you remember?
I think it was Portland, Maine.
Portland, Maine.
Shout
out
to Portland, Maine.
Maine holds a very special place in my heart.
Does it?
I used to work with a guy from Maine. They used to tell me all about it. And Kenny Bunkport, Stephen King,
Maine. Yeah.
Joey Mejia, all things from Maine.
Yeah. Joey's from New Hampshire, actually.
Oh,
maybe he's from. No, he's from Maine. He's from Maine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, you're right.
Or that would just be very awkward, very embarrassing. So New England, how long were you there?
I was there till I was like 20.
20, wow. So, no?
What, am I wrong? Is that not right? I don't know. I was there till I was about 20.
18?
About.
Well, it's close.
And then I moved to San Diego.
So when we say New England, what are we talking about? New England?
Boston area.
Oh,
Boston. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because Jeff, he talks a little bit about Boston too.
Who's
I've
that?
never been Jeff, our sound guy here.
Oh yeah.
Touring.
Is he from Boston?
No, but he's from. Oh God, where's Bernie Sanders from?
Vermont.
Vermont. He's from Vermont, so he did a lot of touring in that area and stuff like that. So, but yeah, Boston.
Yeah, and then I moved out to.
Hold on.
We got to slow down here.
Do you, as a kid in that area, was there? Do you think it was scarier to grow up then than now? What do you think? I mean, like, because back then, I mean, even me at my age, I used to walk to school by myself. Used to ride the bus. Kids, I'm sure back then, kids used to ride the bus. They used to buy cigarettes for their parents, all that kind of shit. So, I
don't know.
Did you have any fear? Was it scary? Was there crimes? Nothing like that?
I had no fear, but
no.
I think it. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Boston, it's a rough area, especially thinking about the 70s, right?
Yeah, it definitely can be, but
or was it one of those things where you didn't go to the city very often?
Yeah, I didn't grow up in the city.
You
I went to the city for
exactly, concert, something like that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's more dangerous today, or we just know. There's more media out there that portrays it as dangerous, and there's more knowledge of what actually is going on.
Yeah. So when you said you were into music and stuff, and from the radio, like, was that the only thing? Did you have friends that would recommend things? Did you have like siblings, older siblings, anything like that?
No older siblings,
No.
just a peer group that would listen to different kinds of music, and once you're into something, then you learned about something else through that, and you know how it goes. It's just like this rabbit hole you dive down in.
Do you remember some of the records you bought back in the day? Some of your early records, maybe? Did you have like
The Man Who Sold the World was one of the first albums I
okay.
bought. Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
Nice.
Raw Power, Iggy Pop.
See, it's funny because you're not saying these like kind of. I mean, they are mainstream, but they're not like what you would consider like big, mainstream classic rock. Like I would figure you'd say Journey, the Eagles,
no, fuck, I hated,
all that kind of stuff.
I hated
like
that shit.
Like already you're talking about these guys that are kind of more left of center, as they say.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's right. I still love Funkadelic, man. Yeah. Maggot Brain shout out to Maggot Brain. One of the best albums ever made, as far as I'm concerned.
So Iggy Pop, everybody kind of points at him as, one of the early pioneers in the punk and all that. Like, do you kind of remember when you first heard about that? I mean, what was it? What was it like for a person in the 70s to discover punk? What is that like? Because I'm from before the internet a little bit, but I mean, like, people are constantly on their phones. They know about everything. They have access to everything. And so, like, back then, it was like kind of the dark ages, unless you went to the library or, went out of your way.
It was the dark. I lived in the dark ages, Stephen. Yeah, that's when I was born. The dark ages. Yeah.
So
no running water, no flush toilets. I mean, it was bad, man.
So punk wasn't a mainstream thing. It wasn't a radio thing. So like,
no, it wasn't.
How
at
did
all.
you find out about it?
I lived in this college town in Durham, New Hampshire, and they had this great college radio station. So you could always get like alternative stuff on the college radio. So I was dialed into that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was really cool. But when I first heard punk, man, it just. To be honest with you, I didn't like it at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 10 times I heard it, I was like, what the fuck is this noise? And then you kind of develop this, you kind of understand what they're trying to do, and then all of a sudden it's just like, that's all you want to listen to,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that, it's basically, it was a response to, from what I understand, I wasn't there, but it was a response to the over dramatic, produced bands of the time. There was a lot, from what I understand, there was a lot of Genesis, Deep Purple, jam bands, Kansas, that kind of stuff. And so these guys were just like, taking it back to the beginning and just like the shitty stuff. Let's just make some noise, and it's just all about the emotion.
Yeah.
And
a lot of overproduced stuff. And people were just, most of these bands that, like Fear and all these. These are fucking homeless people.
Yeah.
Who stole the guitar and sold a set of drums and is just making music in someone's garage.
Mm-hmm.
It's just raw.
And so back then, was it like 45s? Was it tapes? Was it Did you ever see any zines in that?
Zines?
Yeah, little homemade magazines from the
Oh,
punk
yeah,
scenes, that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Like,
It was. It was all that. Mostly it was. LPs, some cassettes, but I didn't have a lot of money growing up, so it was whatever I could get your hands on. You know what I mean?
Well, and I also think that maybe that's something that attracts people to punk as well. Is it's just you don't have to have a lot of money.
Right.
I was in a band with these guys that they were great musicians, but we always had this. We always felt like maybe we weren't as good as the other guys because the other bands, they had parents that bought them the Marshall amps and the Gibson guitars and stuff like that. And we always had these like little kind of off-brand stuff, but we were good.
Yeah.
And, I even had guys that had better equipment than me that were like, how'd you get your sound? That kind of stuff. And it's just like punk, maybe I'm not necessarily, that's my number one genre that I listen to all the time, but like I always have that kind of ethos a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those
Yeah.
early bands had no fucking clue how to play their.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna get a beep on this one, isn't it?
No.
Yeah,
No, I haven't been beeping.
Oh, you haven't been beeping?
No, I only did that for a while.
Oh.
So that's when Rob was saying his very hateful stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys were not great musicians, right? It was all about the energy and the feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I loved it. I still listen to it. I still listen to Dead Kennedys and Sex Pistols and Fear. Fear is one of my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Fear is it Fear LA band, right?
Yeah, Fear's an LA
Fear's
band.
LA. Dead Kennedys is the Bay Area.
It's the Bay Area, yep.
Yeah.
Sex Pistols is England.
Yeah, I got into this stuff later. Luckily for me, when I was like 15, 16, that was kind of like the Napster thing.
Right.
And pretty much anything that I had heard of, I could look up and listen to. And so, it was good and bad. It was good because I could be inspired. I can find new artists. It's bad because, well, it kind of just ruined their livelihood, with the whole thing.
I changed the industry. Now it is what it is. Right?
Yeah, we got to evolve with the times.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Did you ever see any of those, kind of iconic punk bands back in the day?
Yeah, I saw a lot. I've seen Bowie a bunch of times. I've seen Fear. Never saw the Dead Kennedys.
Mm-hmm. And where at? In New England or in California?
No, in California.
Yeah, okay.
In California.
So you went from New England to San Diego.
Yeah.
And this was kind of mid-'70s, late 70s, early 80s?
It was early 80s.
Yeah.
Right? Because I met my wife, my beautiful wife, 82.
Mm-hmm.
82. So, yeah, it would be late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
We used to just go to, a lot of different shows in San Diego
what
and
inspired
Los
that
Angeles.
move?
Have you ever been into New Hampshire before?
No.
Have you ever been to Boston before in the winter?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
No. I know it's cold, but...
You wouldn't be asking that question.
The thing is, like, as a Californian, as I identify as, I know nothing about New Hampshire at all, other than the fact that Adam Sandler is from New Hampshire.
Right.
That is the only thing I know about the entire state. I couldn't even point it out on a map.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
So, is there anything about New Hampshire that you remember that sticks out? I mean,
I honestly hated growing up in New Hampshire.
Because Vermont
Fucking
is
hated
like
it.
Ben and Jerry's,
Yep.
Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
There you go. So. I can't think of anything in New Hampshire other than Adam Sandler.
I can't remember the guy's name, but he invented the Segway. He's from New Hampshire.
The Segway. Nice.
Adam Sandler, like you said. I don't know. I mean, there's famous people from New Hampshire, but I absolutely hated growing up there. I didn't feel like I fit in at all and wanted to get out of there as soon as possible.
What motivated San Diego of all places? Was it, did you know about it? Had you been there before? Did you just look at a map and said, this is the sunny California. This is where I want to go?
Yeah, I guess.
That's what it was?
Yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
And so
I was just out.
Imagine back then, money was a little tight.
Yeah.
What kind of jobs were you working?
I worked at fast food restaurants. I actually met my wife at a Burger King.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
nice.
no shit. So that was fun.
Have it your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you fired him, huh?
Yeah, she fired me.
Oh, wow.
She still fires me.
Would you guys say that you have similar personalities or opposite personalities?
Me and her, in some ways, we're really similar. I mean, we have the same, I would say, values, but in other ways, we are very different.
Yeah.
I think I'm more laid back, and she's less laid back.
That's pretty much me and my wife, actually.
Yeah, is it really?
Like, we do have a lot of things in common, but, like, like certain things she just doesn't get.
Yeah.
She doesn't get the comedy. Like, she supports it and stuff like that, but she doesn't get the, like, and maybe you agree, it's like, feel like I have to do it. Like, I just want to do it, It's one of those things where if I don't do it for a while, I get, like, kind of depressed a little bit. Yeah. So I don't know. You're pretty much at the Shanghai every week. So
yeah, I host down there on Friday.
Yeah.
Most
nights,
weeks. Friday night
baby.
to Shanghai, baby. Come see me.
Fridays are actually I haven't been there in a while, but I hear Fridays have been pretty good lately.
Fridays are pretty good. Fridays are pretty good. Sundays are pretty good. And Saturdays are interesting.
Are rough. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially this time of year. Who the hell wants to be sitting at the Shanghai when you can be outside in the sun?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like last week we didn't get the biggest turnout, but we we just march on. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
we're
all you
here,
can do,
the
man.
show goes on. We're here to have a good time. You know,
Open mics is all about the stage time, man.
even you and I have been on some shows that we didn't think we're gonna go through, but we just pushed through, and they ended up being a good time anyways.
Yeah, that
So,
show at what was it? Where was it? Peace of Mind Brewing.
Yeah.
You were hosting, actually.
Peace of Mind.
Peace
yes.
of Mind. Shout out to Peace of
Tapped
Mind
Out.
Brewing. Yeah.
Shout out to
That was
Tapped Out.
that was a good show. Shout out to Nick Cody. Shout out to Tap Out.
Yes, Nick
How many
Cody.
shout outs can we do?
We could do as many as we want.
Oh, can we?
Or as Reese Green says, keep it going.
Keep it going.
Keep it going for Scott Coburn.
Yeah.
Keep it
You
going
know-
for yourselves.
You know who was there? I think the same night you were at Tony V's is Cruz.
Oh yeah, I've
I-
seen Cruz from the beginning too. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the three
Shout
of
out
us.
to Cruz.
Marcus Cruz.
Marcus Cruz.
has a podcast where he looks like what's that movie with Russell Crowe where he's like deranged and he has all those notes on the wall.
Oh yeah. Beautiful
A
Mind.
Beautiful Mind. Cruz looks like he's doing a podcast from the set of A Beautiful Mind.
It does. Oh man, I never would have put that together. That's funny.
Yeah. Cruz, he called me on Instagram at like 10 o'clock at night or something
Really?
like that the other night. And I was like in bed or something. And I messaged him back. I was like, what's up? He's all, hey, man, I just had this really good idea. And I thought you were the person I should talk about. And then he never told me what the idea was. So,
Yeah.
sorry.
He might have forgot.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Cruz is good.
Yeah, I love that guy, man. Love him.
So, yeah,
Good guy.
man, you're in San Diego. You have your wife here.
Yep. Started pumping out the kids.
Well, so you said you've been sober since the early 80s.
82.
So
What?
we-
Yeah, I know my sobriety date, baby. April 1st, 1982. You got sober 6 months earlier.
You're mistaken. You're 38 years sober,
Right.
so that can't be 82.
uh,
82. We used together for 4 years.
82 minus 24 equals 38. Anyways.
yeah, I'm confused.
He's 38 years sober.
I was told
Yeah.
there would be no math in this podcast.
Yeah, I was hoping not. But
He's 38 years sober. That's not.
yeah.
Well,
I drank and used with this one, and this one
So-
can drink and use me under the
So-
under the table. So
so you
I had
guys
to get clean
you
and
guys
sober.
felt like you were at a point where you're like, we got to get this under control.
yeah, she felt like because she's way worse of an alcoholic and a drunk and a drug addict. Maybe not a drug addict, but way worse of a drunk than me. Way worse. So she was like, okay, I need to get this under control or I'm going to die.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm not ready yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
And then about 6 months later, I was like, okay. I saw how her life changed for the better, you know?
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, I want to try that. And I remember I made the decision. I was walking over a bridge in Mission Bay, San Diego. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this for a year. And if it doesn't work out, if my life's shittier after a year, then I'm just going to go back to drinking.
Mhm.
And then I tried it for a year, and my life got better and better and better and better and better.
Mhm. That's
So-
good, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And was that after the first kid, or was that before?
You got sober before the first kid, right? And I got Yeah.
July 30th.
I was still using when the baby was conceived, but I was sober when the baby Gabrielle was born.
Mhm.
Shout out to Gabrielle. Shout out to
Gabrielle.
Kendra. Shout out to Dane. Shout out to Max. Shout out to Micah. They won't watch this podcast.
Those
anyways.
are all your kids.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. What are the ages? What are the age range?
Fuck if I know. We're on the 3-year plan.
Well, how about the year? You could just tell me the years. I actually don't even like age. I just want to know what year they're
First
born.
one was 86.
Okay, so it's basically me.
When's Kenny? 89,
89.
92, 96, 98.
Okay, so nice, good.
I
ages.
barely remember their
so
names.
even
She
the
remembers everything.
98. They're all old now. They're all
all old.
adults.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
They're
yeah.
all adults, and they're all doing pretty good, huh?
They're all doing great. They're
Yeah.
all saving the world, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Only one of them's married. My oldest daughter's married.
Which one's your favorite? We
They're
can't-
all my
We
favorite.
can't say that.
You're all my favorite.
Do any of them kind of take more after you or more after mom? Or
I
are
thi-
they
I-
their own people?
I think they're their own people, but I think they take more after me than
Really?
they take after their mom.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that or no?
I'd say probably a combination, but they took a lot of
Combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you talk, we can't hear you on the speaker. So
No,
yeah, just
I like listening to a podcast where you have to like, what are they saying? Because I actually really enjoy like when people are going to be walking by later, I'm going to say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Except for that dude on the last one with Robbie. I don't know that. I did not want that guy on the podcast. I don't know.
What was that guy's name?
I don't know. His name was
You can't move those, babe.
His name was like
Alexander. I don't know.
He
seemed like a cool
not
guy.
of this earth. No, he does seem like a cool guy, but I know who I like to talk to, and I know who can carry a conversation.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna,
Why'd you have me on the podcast?
Dude, we've been talking for almost a half hour.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's the longest conversation I've had with anybody in 5 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Even your children.
Yeah.
That's okay. I barely, like, when I'm on the phone with my dad, I'm just trying to get off.
Yeah.
You know? No, get off the phone. Jesus. I'm always thinking the worst things.
Yeah.
But I did have some bad dad jokes when I first started, so.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yay, dad jokes.
Yay, dad jokes. I don't remember any of your dad jokes. I remember you had I tried to burn you on it last week about it. You had a rapeseed oil joke
Yes.
that I tried to call back to the other night,
Yeah.
but it didn't work.
I haven't told that joke since the night we were at Shanghai and Zay Smith brought all of his black friends, the like 10, 12 black dudes that were sitting there. And you were there because you said, I'm Scott Coburn, fuck you, or something like that and left. But yeah, I did the set, and that was my last joke. And I just hear, it's so quiet because nobody's laughing.
Yeah.
And I just hear Jay Markovitz.
Normal SMJ set.
After I do my joke, I just hear Jay Markovitz go, Jesus fucking Christ. And I was like, if he thinks that joke is bad, maybe I should revisit doing this in my set, you know.
Yeah, I don't even really remember the joke. I just remember it had something to do with rapeseed.
Yeah. It's rapeseed. There is a thing called rapeseed oil.
Yes, there is.
I don't know if a rapeseed is real. I think it's grapeseed, to be honest. I just think that, like, back in the day, there was a misspelling that they just rolled with. It's like ketchup and catsup, you know? Like,
Well, there is a difference between ketchup and ketchup.
is there really?
Yeah.
What's the difference? This is going to be a clip for TikTok.
Ketchup. Ketchup is a brand name of Heinz. It's ketchup. Other companies tried to copy it, but they couldn't use the word ketchup.
Wow.
So they changed the name to catsup. So anything that's made from anything that's called catsup is not a Heinz product. Anything that's ketchup is Heinz.
We're gonna have to look at this. What about Hunts? What do they make? I don't know. Or maybe it was like that at one point, but
Maybe.
Band-Aids are Band-Aids. We know that for sure.
They are.
I don't even know where were we. Oh, we were talking a little bit about drugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want. People will need to know the details and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, just from what my dad says, I mean, the big thing back then was Coke. Coke was a big thing. I mean, weed was all around, and then pills. Like a lot of pills, like Reds. I heard about Reds.
Blacks.
What's the one from The Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh yeah, Quaaludes. I've never done Quaaludes.
No,
they were
Quaaludes,
hard. They were hard to get your hands on, man.
Yeah. So.
Plus, I'm more of a speed guy.
Yeah.
You know, Coke and crystal meth.
Yeah.
Did a lot of crystal
Well,
meth.
the same with my dad. You know, he's the same. In fact, he says that he was doing lines on the toilet in the church bathroom of his
Oh yeah,
day, so,
that doesn't surprise me at all.
But it was 85. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
imagine
That's
that.
what you do.
Yeah, exactly. Back to the Future was out.
What? Oh yeah,
Oh, God.
this one. Oh man, we had some friends over. We had an 8-ball, laid it out on the table, start cutting lines, and this one spills it on the shag carpet.
Oh no,
It was a bad night.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was down there on the floor.
Hey,
Got to do what you got to do, baby.
I used to do that with weed. You know, I was so poor. I'd like drop a little nug of weed, and I'd look like everywhere for it. You know.
Light the house on fire.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, you missed out on fentanyl though, man. I tell you what.
I did. And crack.
Unfortunately, crack too. Yeah.
Who did? Fentanyl. Oh yeah. For the patches. That's right. But for pain, not for.
Yeah, pain for
Yeah, but not recreational.
Not recreational. No.
No, and probably ecstasy, MDMA. Right?
Never had it.
Yeah.
Never had it.
Well, I'm not a big drug guy. Regardless of what people say, regardless.
I'm
of
glad you didn't have that camera on earlier.
Regardless
5
of
minutes before the podcast started. Yeah,
the
you're
people that
not a big
I
drug
used
guy.
to hang out with. I tried to. I've always stayed away from like hard stuff. you
Yeah.
know? Like I've never done coke, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I have.
Ketamine.
I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever. Drug test me. I did ecstasy once, and that was when I was 20, and it had speed in it because literally once it wore off, it was like I was still up until 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And, it's... I honestly don't like things where I don't feel like I'm in control, I don't like to drink too much. I still want to be able to drive. I still want to be able to have a conversation.
Don't like acid?
No, I've never done acid either. Did
Really?
mushrooms a lot, but again, I just don't like to do too much. It's. I've been practicing. What is it called? Where you're not doing. You're not overindulging.
Reduced harm?
What? Control, I guess that's what it is. I've been practicing control lately. Yeah.
I wish I had some of that.
Yeah. It's hard to be sober though. It is. I mean, even when all I was doing was drinking, I wasn't doing anything else. I was drinking a lot because I just felt like I was, compensating for whatever.
I think it's hard to be sober if you're around a bunch of people who aren't sober.
Absolutely.
But if you hang out with a bunch of people who are sober, I don't think it's that hard. And it's probably harder being sober when you're younger, when the thing is, going to bars, going to nightclubs, going to party. I mean, I'm boring. I stay in the house all the time, so. And I hang out with her who's sober too, so.
And I don't want to boast or anything like that, but I've just never had that addictive personality when it comes to drugs and alcohol. I think more of I identify a lot with. Well, no, that wouldn't be a good. Hey, you could be on the podcast. We got another microphone.
Who was it?
Our bartender here.
Charlie, give it up for Charlie.
Yes, she needs money because she can only afford half a shirt. Thank you. I'm here all night, people.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you have control over stuff. I have very little control.
Yeah.
I have no moderation. I can either go 100% or I can stop 100%.
Well, what I was going to
mean?
say is I identify a lot with Bert Kreischer, but no, Bert Kreischer actually probably does have a problem. But I don't want to drink every day. I just want the big fun party,
Right.
Like tonight, I want everybody to have a good time. I want to have some drink. Let's have fun. Let's,
Yeah.
But when I'm at home, I don't want to party at all. I just want to just, jump on the trampoline or watch TV or
There's
whatever.
There's a lot of drugs and alcohol in this in the comedy scene too,
Yeah,
found
coming from music, because I did play in a band for 10 years, I have seen more drugs here doing comedy than ever music.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy sometimes.
The other thing too that I talked about with Sage is I love how much access you have to professionals in this industry, because we literally can DM a big name, and usually they'll say something back. You can never do that in a band. You can't ever get a hold of Iggy Pop. If you want.
No, you can't.
Not unless I don't know.
You can even reach out to big, pretty big name comics. Shout out to Rich Francis Williams.
Yes,
I talked to him.
I don't know who that is.
He was one of the head writer on what is it called? Best Damn Sports Show.
Ah, yes, Best Damn. Oh, Tom Arnold was on that.
Yeah.
Shout out Tom Arnold. Shout out. So let's go back. San Diego, 80s.
You're a good interviewer. You remember where you are and thing. You pace good. That's good. I'm really impressed.
And before
I was expecting something else. Hearing your comedy.
Oh well. This is all in spite of Rob Conroy not returning my calls.
Where is Rob? I used to see Rob every week, man. I miss that guy. I haven't seen him in a long time.
If you're there, Rob.
Shout out to Rob.
We love you, but come on, man. Come out. Hang out with us. Let's have some fun.
Come out and play.
This is going to be this could be the best comedy podcast in Seattle. It could be.
It could be.
You know.
It could be.
It's definitely getting a lot of views.
Is it?
You know,
That's
it's
great.
getting a lot of hype.
That's great.
People are liking it.
I know. I watch it every week.
So, but I was going to say, before we
Yeah,
go,
go ahead.
back to San Diego, we were talking about Kratom. Kratom is a legal drug
Yep.
here. It is. You've never touched it.
Nope.
It got introduced here on the market a few years ago. Over the years, I've heard about these different legal drugs. Maybe your kids have heard of them. For a while, there was some fake weed out there called
Yep.
Spice.
Yep.
There was K2.
Yep.
There was Salvia was another one. And Kratom is just another legal thing. Now they have these fake mushrooms, Amanita muscaria, which is a real mushroom, but they have these gummies that...
Synthetic.
Yes, and I will tell you, I took some before I went to see Inside Out 2 this last weekend, and my tears were coming out of my eyes. But I didn't see anything crazy. I didn't see any visuals. I think it just made me like kinda
Emotional?
a little more emotional. Not
Yeah.
even that just more than normal.
Just put you over the edge.
Yeah, and maybe it was just because I was just, having a good time, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like cool visuals. I was there with my kid, first time she'd ever been to a movie.
Oh, that's awesome,
She
dude.
sat through the whole thing, which we were amazed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
She's
see-
on the spectrum, and so it's hard for her to pay attention to things. And
Yeah,
it's probably been a long time since you've been to a theater with kids in the day. But when you go in the early afternoon, everybody's got the loud kids. Everybody's
Yeah,
got the babies and the kids jumping in the aisle. So I pretty much knew what to expect. But she actually did a really good job.
That's awesome. Yeah, last time I was at the movies that had a lot of kids, I went to see the Barbie movie by myself, and I
Oh.
look like a very strange person walking into the Barbie movie. But
The older I get,
wanted to see it.
to be honest, the older I get, the less I feel comfortable going to a park alone.
Yeah. It's
Well,
fucked up, dude.
it is. It is.
Well, that's the way the world is.
A playground. If it's a regular, it's
Why do you want to go to a playground by yourself, anyways? I mean, is that the bigger question here?
yeah. I am a kid. I'm a grown-up kid. I like
Yeah.
going down slides. Is there a problem with that?
No, sir.
Yeah. So Kratom, anyways, is this legal thing. It's a plant that is been around forever. They just started bringing it into the country a few years ago, and then it just exploded. And now you could buy it in pill form. It's not a pill; it's a capsule. It's basically like weed. It's a plant that's been ground down into powder. They mix it into tea. They make these shots now. They mix them with lemon juice, and they extract them with ethanol and stuff like that. So it's gross. It's if you ever get liquid kratom, it's like, you guys know like iced tea. You ever make iced tea, right?
Yeah.
If you ever leave the tea bag in there and you pour almost all the tea out and you just have that little bit of water and you just let it sit for like 5 days, if you drink that, it's like this powdery water or something like that. That's what kratom shots taste like. So you really got to shake them up. They taste awful, but they do the job.
They do the job,
And I will
yeah.
tell you, when I first started using this thing, it was like, it almost was like what I imagined heroin being like. I was laying there in bed going like, oh my God, I cannot believe that this is legal. This is amazing. And then the next time wasn't as good. And then now it's this weird thing, and maybe I've started to learn that everybody's body's different, but I cannot do it for months. And then I do it again, and it just never brings back that original
That's the way drugs work.
But see. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I've taken pills like oxys and stuff like that, but I've seen people walking by. I just see somebody with sunglasses. So yeah, I to me now it's just this thing that it just kind of just peps me up a little bit. Like I really struggled a lot in my life with depression, just like probably everybody in my generation has, and I am adamantly against medication for SSRI, that kind of thing, like
Why?
Prozac.
Why?
antidepressants. For me, I've always had just bad negative reactions to the.
Oh,
kinds
you've
that-
tried it before?
Yeah, several different kinds. Prozac, Wellbutrin, stuff like that. And
You got to find the right one, man. I took like
so
20 different antidepressants and antipsychotics before I found one that worked. So
this goes back.
if you're
to
out there and you have mental illness,
Yeah.
don't give up on medication.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.com.
Sponsored by Lamectal.
I had a joke about with BetterHelp when I first started, but
So you're taking the Kratom?
But what I was going to tell you, man, was when I was a teenager, I was having the issues with depression and pills. My mom was like, "Try this," and she gave me weed, and then and then I just did weed for like 9 years straight.
Yeah.
And I stopped for a long time, and then I started hanging out with Nick Cody and Danny Trevor John.
Shout out to Danny Trevor John. I haven't seen Danny in a while.
Yeah, he was. I saw
Hawaii.
him. He was at Club Comedy just like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in town, and I didn't see him go up though, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but looking tanny,
Tanny.
Tanny Trevor John.
Danny Trevor John.
Anyways, so that's what I was taking before, and it's I feel good,
That's
I feel
good, man.
good. I feel good being here.
It's good.
I like some of the legal drugs. I think that
That's good.
they work for it's maybe you remember this or not. A lot of people when they're like extreme stoners, they go out and they're like, everybody should smoke weed for the world. It'll make the world. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
I have. And the older I get, I've realized that, like you said, everybody's got a different body. Everybody just reacts to something differently. The three of us, well, this would be weird because you guys haven't had a shot in almost 40 years. But if the three of us all took the shot of the same alcohol, we would all react to it differently. Depending on our body, depending on our DNA,
One more. What's the point of taking one shot of anything?
Because, I know there are people that, when they drink, they get angry and they get offended and they want to start fights. I'm not like that. I'm more of a silly guy,
Yeah.
I look at people like David Arquette, and I'm like, that's my energy right there. David Arquette, when he's off the deep end, that's what I would want to be right there.
I don't have any problem. I mean, me personally, I don't have any problem with people using drugs, using alcohol. I mean, it's just not for me. I mean, I don't judge anybody.
Absolutely.
You know, if anyone ever wanted to get, try to get clean, come talk to me. But if you want to do your thing, man, do your thing.
Yeah, and you're not a religious guy?
Not. I am an atheist.
So that's great because we have different options, If you're religious, hit up Jason Duman. If you're not religious,
shout out to Jason Duman.
Hit up
Jason's
Scott Coburn.
Jason's
here.
a good guy.
So, absolutely. So now we talked about Kratom. We'll go back to San Diego. You said you saw more bands down there.
Saw a lot of bands down there.
Did you ever see Black Flag?
Black Flag. I think I did. See Black Flag, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Plasmatics or so. Just saw a lot of different bands. A lot of these bands, you don't even. They never even made the mainstream. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of funky groups that just no one even knows. Maybe they released one album or something.
Well, there's good and bad things about music today. The good thing about music is basically you can get anything. There's every genre you've ever wanted, every band, every album you've ever wanted. But the problem is there's too much, and back then there wasn't that many artists that were being signed and recording. And so you could get these kind of experimental, kind of off the wall groups that would release an album and then go away. And so that's where we got stuff like that. Television.
Yeah, Television.
Suicide, remember them?
No.
They were a group from the whole CBGB's kind of era.
Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah, Suicidal was great. And then when you start having kids, how did your life change? Were you just kind of more focused on work and raising them? Did you guys still find time to do stuff for yourselves? I mean,
we always. I mean, if you're going to be in a long-term relationship, you got to find time for your relationship, right? I mean, a lot of times people have kids, and it all becomes about the kids, and it all's like the kids, and you're focusing on the kids, and then the kids move out, and then it's like, okay, what are we now? You know what I
Well,
mean? So
I'll
we
tell you,
always had time.
That was
Always made
that's
time.
that was a huge struggle in this relationship that I'm in, this marriage. You know, I mean, it's been together almost 12 years
Oh, wow.
at this
That's great.
point, and married since 2015, and this last couple of years, you know, has been tough. I mean, a lot of changes. Our kids, as she's getting older, you know, we're starting to realize that she's on the spectrum, so that's a lot of stress. You know, trying to manage her jobs, a lot of things with work. Obviously, I did this whole comedy thing. She had a big medical thing that happened last
Right.
year, like all these different things. Her dad died. My friend Sam died. Like just shit after shit, you know.
Yep.
And I think that see, I start saying all this shit, and then I forget like where I'm going with this. But but yeah, I mean, we just never had time.
Yeah, yeah.
We it was all about
You got to
the
make the time.
it
You
was
got
all
to
about
carve
the-
it out, man.
It was all about the kid.
Yeah.
And in a way, I almost felt like we didn't even know who each other were.
Yeah.
You know, we were just living in the same place.
Yeah,
you
that can
know?
happen.
You know. Oh no, it's so much better now. It's did counseling. Honestly, when I started comedy, like I had walked out of the house, you know, like that. Like it had gotten that bad. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
my dad had lived with us. He was a lot of issues, just a lot of weird stuff, and we just didn't communicate, didn't know what we wanted from each other, and then somehow, you know, I really was against the counseling thing, but I thought, you know, I grew up with divorced parents. I know what it's like to. I know it's like for kids that grow up like that.
Right.
And
Well, it sounds like you turned it around, dude, and that's good.
I said, you know, the thing is, I said, as dumb as this is, this comedy thing, like, I have to do this. I said, before I ever met you, I was all about music. And I mean, literally, I was in a relationship with this girl, and every weekend is band practice. And I felt like, looking back on it now, I was like, wow, how selfish was that? I was such an
Right,
asshole.
right.
But, like, I just have this thing that, like, for whatever reason, I need to perform. Like, I don't even know if it's the attention that I get from it. I think it's just more of just, like, I constantly want to just put stuff out there and make stuff for people. I don't know why. And I wonder, like, I don't know if there's past lives, anything like that. Like, I'm not religious, but maybe there is something to that. Like, maybe there is trauma, because I've heard these things like, you know how kids are scared of like monsters
Yep.
under the bed and
Yep.
stuff like that. Some people say that that's ingrained in our brain from back in the day, like beasts, you know, like, you know, big cats and bears and stuff like that, the claws and all that. And they, you know, they think that subconsciously when kids are thinking about monsters, it's really us trying to get away from these beasts, you know, and there's a lot of things like that, little parallels. And so
what is it about
so
you
I
that
wonder, like, was I a performer in a past life?
Yeah.
Was I, you know,
or you can
I
think of it
don't-
like this: what
'cause
about your personality makes you need that thing?
I don't know, because in my personal life, I have a really just small personal life. Like I don't even have any friends that I hang out with on a regular basis. Rob, but he was the only one that I think I hung out with, like, kind of semi. Oh, Jake, shout out Jake Bodden. He's the guy. You've seen him around. He's always with me. He's the only guy that's here that's not a comedian sometimes.
Yeah.
He's got the goatee and the military haircut and all that.
I can't picture him, but
Yeah.
I believe
If
you.
I showed you a picture, you'd be like,
Yeah,
"Oh
yeah,
yeah, I seen that guy." Yeah, but yeah, no, not a lot of. No, it's a really small group, really small, and so for whatever reason, and you know, also too, like, it's easier for me to talk about this stuff with you than it is to talk about it with, like, my dad or my
Yeah, yeah.
mom or something, because
Why is that? you
I don't
think?
know. I honestly, like,
You think they'll judge you more?
yeah, maybe, you know,
Disappoint them,
it's-
maybe?
I don't know, because I don't really feel like I need their approval, but it's just, I don't know, man.
I think on some level you're always looking for your parents' approval, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
oh yeah.
It may not be much. It may not control your life, but
Oh yeah, you know, like I wish when I was younger, like I had this cousin who was a musician as well, a country guy. My mom was always hyping him up, like, "Hey, you should play with him. He's so good." And I'm like, "Hey, what about me?" You know, and she did she did think I was talented and stuff like that, but you know, she was going to show music to her friends. It would have been her nephew, not her sons, you know, stuff like that. Because my stuff is like screaming, you know, bad vocals, whatever, you know, loud guitars, that kind of thing. And his was like really nice, pleasant to the ears.
Well, if you need this, then you're probably going to get good at it. You know,
yeah.
I think I'm never going to get really good at this. One, I'm not going to live long enough to actually get good at it. And two, I don't feel like I need it. You know, I don't feel like I need to stand up on stage and make people laugh. I mean, it's fun and I enjoy it. And me and my wife like to travel around and do it, but I honestly don't need it.
But what made you want to do it? First of all, how did you get up here to Washington? When did that happen?
When did we move up here? 2005. Yeah, we're just like nuts. I don't know if you've ever lived in San Diego before.
I've never lived there. Been there. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Yeah, very expensive. Lots of traffic. Just not where I wanted to raise the kids anymore. You know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we moved up here, got a house. Did pretty well. Started my business, and it's been really good. Been fun. I like Pacific Northwest.
So almost 20 years you've had this business, or did you have a different job?
It's our 17-year anniversary coming up.
Yeah, and that's out in Snohomish, right? Snohomish area.
Snohomish area.
So you've been a Snohomish resident
for 2 years. I lived in Bothell before that.
Yeah.
4 years? I have no clue about time. This is why I keep her around.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons.
Yeah, she corrects you on everything.
Yeah.
That's all right. Mine does too.
Yeah.
So
they're good at that.
All right. So now you have your business, your kids, things are going well. Comedy. Growing up, did you like? Before you answer,
I love comedy.
Before you answer that,
Yep.
I just want to say this. As a younger guy, not a younger guy, but younger than you, my impression is the two most influential comedians from that time period, from early comedy in the 70s, Bill Cosby and Cheech and Chong.
No.
I feel like everybody had albums.
You got them both wrong.
I feel like
that's amazing.
I feel like everybody had those albums, though, right?
A lot of people did. Yeah, a lot of people did. The two most influential people growing up were Pryor and Cosby.
Okay. Well, I said Cosby.
No, I'm sorry, Carlin.
Carlin
and Pryor. Those are the two.
How about Steve Martin? Was he
Steve
big
Martin
too?
was a little later.
Okay.
He was very funny. I remember that album. Coming out, the one he had the rabbit ears and stuff. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was a good album. But my main influences are Cosby. I'm sorry, Carlin. I fucking hate Bill Cosby.
If I pass out in 2 minutes, then his influences are Cosby.
Here, try this.
You see?
Carlin, Pryor, and then Bill Hicks.
Nice, Bill Hicks. Yeah, that's one that I didn't discover till later.
Yeah,
you know, and even then, like, his stuff isn't all full like gut wrenching funny. It's more makes you think. It's kind of like I would say Hicks is like definitely makes you think, and then Carlin's kind of like makes you think, but also still just silly and funny.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting around listening to George Carlin albums when I was a kid with my brother and stuff like that. But
yeah, I remember the first album I heard of his was the 7 Dirty Words album.
Yeah,
shit, piss, skunk, fuck, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. Or if you're listening to this, beep 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 beep, and beep. How about yours? What was your influences?
So, I didn't really even want to do comedy till a few years ago. The only comedians I remember growing up were, Robin Williams, Dave Chappelle, because Chappelle's show.
Chappelle is
and
one of my favorite now.
I loved Dave Attell. Me and my friend Mark, we used to watch the show Insomniac with Dave Attell on Comedy Central. And premise of the show, he'd go around to every city, do his comedy set, and then go run around. And it was kind of like, a glimpse into the life of a comedian. And that always stuck with me because it always just was fun. It was fun. Like, obviously, you get the drunk people at the bars, but also you just got to see different things. You get to see, like, go to Philadelphia at night and see all the drunk people getting in line for cheesesteaks and them fighting and, like, how they are cursing at the people working at the cheesesteak place, or like in Holland, he goes to this World Flower Market where it's this giant, complex where all these flowers from Holland get shipped all over the world, and there's like a bidding system, and so different countries bid for flowers to be shipped overnight, and it's this crazy. It's cool because it was comedy, but it also like
Taught
gave
you
you a
something?
little education,
Yeah.
and still like putting a dumb comedian in like, for comic relief in a somewhat serious job. Like, I think one episode he went to like a cattle farm, and they're showing how they artificially inseminate the cows. And
Really?
they got to put the big glove
Yeah.
on the arm. And
Be a
then
fun job,
he had
huh?
David Tell tried it out, and he put it in there, and you could just see his face squirming. And then, back then they used to smoke, so he's like, hey, I think you need a cigarette after that. So, David Tell, and he's a joke guy too, and doing comedy as long as we've been doing, we're still trying to figure out who we are, what we do.
Yeah.
But I discovered, I think, like, a few months in, that I really like the jokes more than, I'm not really a storyteller.
Yeah, me neither.
I try. I have these stories that just, I don't know how to put them into like a punchline. I have these weird stories that just end up like depressing.
A lot of people, I mean, it seems like that's the new thing, telling stories, telling funny stories, and it doesn't work for me. I mean, I like writing jokes, man.
Yeah.
I know it's old school, but I mean, I set up in a punchline.
Well, and I also feel like it's kind of like we're the TikTok of comedy. Like just quick, easy, pay attention, move on to the next. You didn't like this one, move on to the next one. There's nothing, and I think that's why a lot of people complain about like doing a 3-minute set, 4-minute set. Is like, if they have a long story and it bombs, well, that was just a waste of a set.
Right.
Whereas if you're a joke teller, I mean,
You still got a couple laughs.
I count laughs. I mean, not always, but like, I'll say like at least half of my jokes got a laugh.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I always like, oh, that's pretty good. Good ratio.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
laugh to joke ratio. LTJ. I don't know. I just came up with that.
LPM,
What's that?
laugh per minute. Laughs per minute.
Laughs per minute. Oh, that works too. So,
Cool, man.
but yeah, being the age you are, your kids are grown up.
Yep.
What made you want to do it? What made you want to just decide to do comedy? I mean, were there modern people, modern comedians that were influential to you, or were you just kind of like, there's something I always
There are
wanted
some
to
modern.
do?
There are some modern comedians. Or I remember when I saw the first Chris Rock special on HBO. Dude, that just
I used to have
that
a
was
bigger and
unbelievable.
blacker poster on
Oh,
my
really?
wall. Yeah, it's so funny. Actually, I did have a Chris Rock poster.
Yeah, but I just wanted to try it, and then it was about a year before I turned 60, maybe 6 months before I turned 60. I'm like, okay, if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. So I just made a pact with myself to get up on stage once before I turned 60, and I went up in November 24th, and my birthday's December.
There,
Oh, it was Club Comedy.
Oh, okay.
You may have been there.
No, I wasn't there. No, I wasn't. I was at Tony V's one of the early times.
Yeah.
For sure.
Club Comedy was a trip because the first time I went on stage, nervous as shit, and I fucking killed. I mean, I think it was, I was like, this is my first time, so I think the crowd was like on my side, but every joke was hitting, man. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, holy shit, I'm good at this. and then I started going to mics and a reality hit,
I hate that, man, because they're January 1st this year. So, last year was kind of a struggle being a new comic. January 1st. So I go to Tacoma Comedy Club, their new club, 6th and Proctor. Have you ever been down there?
No, never done.
Either of the Tacoma Comedy Clubs?
No, the only place I played in Tacoma is Chicago Pizza.
Okay. So Tacoma Comedy Club, and I just went to Club Comedy for the first time recently. So I think that they were very inspired by the Club Comedy room because it's almost identical.
Really?
The rooms are almost identical with the size and the
Yeah.
layout of the tables and all that. So I go there. Typically, when you sign up for Tacoma Comedy Club, you need to sign up like a month ahead of time
Yep.
online.
Yep.
They do have a couple 3 bucket spots, so if you just want to show up, you can throw your name in, maybe get in. So I decided to go down there just because I wanted to check it out. David Altamirano was down there. Shout out David.
Shout out David.
And also Wes.
Wes Brenner.
Wes. Shout out to Wes. San
Shout
Diego.
out Wes. San Diego.
both
Joey
of them-
Mejia.
Both of them were there, and so I was hanging out with them. They did their sets. And then that was the same night that I watched a comic throw water on this lady in the audience. That
Really?
was awesome. Yeah.
Just heckling her or what?
All right, well, let's tell the story real quick. So during the night, there was this couple there, and they're kind of talking a little bit here and there during the set. It was mostly the woman. They were not
Shocker.
comics. They were just eating dinner, having drinks, watching the open mic, and people were getting really annoyed with her. And they're like, can you be quiet? She just, like, for whatever reason, just felt like she needed to not just talk, but, like...
The staff didn't put a stop to it?
No. It was, like, responding to the joke.
Right.
It was like, and this is, you're not part of the act,
Right.
you know. There's one guy, Mason A. Shout out Mason. You don't know him.
I don't know, Mason.
He is a roaster. This guy is like, he does, as far as I know, he's not really a joke guy, but he is crowd work, roasting. I don't want to be in a roast battle with him. He's pretty hardcore. And he went out there and just roasted this lady and just said the most horrible things, the worst things about her. Her boyfriend, her husband sitting right there not doing anything. And I'm just like, dude, this is harsh. Then he goes off, everybody like clapping and stuff like that. Ha 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 ha. Whatever he said. They're like, oh, like whole thing. And then another comic goes up. And then the next comic is like, a minute into his set, she's talking, and then she talks again, and he puts the mic back in the stand, and he walks down the stairs off the stage, and he starts walking towards her. And it's like, oh my, like he's walking aggressively, like, oh my God, is he gonna hit this lady? Like, I got really nervous. And he walks by the table, he grabs a glass of water, ice water, turns around and just flings it at her and just covers her in ice water.
No shit.
And her husband doesn't do anything. And then he leaves, and then like the staff comes in, and then they leave and all this stuff. But that all happened. And then I went to, I never got on. After David and Wes left, I was like, I'm not going to wait for this, whatever. Went to the 907 in Renton.
Never
been. Quinn Fitzgerald was there. Shout out Quinn.
Shout out Quinn.
Dan Berlin was there. Shout out
Shout
Dan.
out Dan.
Allison Fine. Shout out.
Shout out Allison.
And a bunch of other people. And there was a lot of patrons there from a Husky game that was finishing up, so they started the mic late. I was like third or fourth. And then when the game got over, it started the comedy. Room full of people, like 40 people.
No shit.
And then I did my set, and it was the best set I had had up until that time. Like laugh, groans, oh. And I've actually only been there one other time, and I did have a decent set there, but that was like peace of mind. Like it was packed with people.
Yeah.
I've been there since. It was not that.
I've been trying to make it down there, but I just never
But it
have. It's a
sucks
long drive, man.
because after that, I was like, oh, I think I got this comedy thing figured out.
Yeah.
And then I have
Reality
like a
hits.
little decent set here, and then like just horrible sets, like the next 10 sets just bad.
Yeah.
And just feeling bad. Like, I think I said a joke that I upset Allison, and I felt bad about that, and I was just, and then I don't know. Here we are now. Whiskey Mile, still doing it.
Yeah, it's good.
And it's been fun. I don't really. Do you have any goals? I guess you don't, huh? Because it doesn't matter to you, or do you?
I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't matter. it doesn't. I don't need it. There's nothing in my body that needs this. I mean, I enjoy it. I like it. As long as it remains fun, then I'm going to continue to do it. But I'd love to get. I got about 15 minutes I can do now. Some of it's good. I'd love to get like a 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I'd like to be able to do 45 minutes from memory. That would be.
Well, you're doing
that'd
a
be pretty
lot
cool.
of stuff, man. You're doing a lot of hosting.
Yep.
I think you're a good host.
Thank you.
Obviously, Shanghai, Friday
Shanghai.
nights, the best Friday nights. Chuckles on the Pill Chuck.
Chuckles on the Pill Check. Yeah, Blake Kiltoff. Shout out to Blake.
Yes.
Lets me host there every once in a while. And that's only like a block from my house, so that's
Nice.
really fun.
Yeah.
Some great comedians come there.
And
really
then
good.
I've seen you do some other ones. You've done some more hosting for some other random shows here.
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
out there. You're doing it.
Yep, I'm doing it. Hosting is interesting.
I
mean,
like hosting. I do. It's just, it's hard to want to commit to it.
Yeah, it's work.
It is work.
It is work, and that's what you don't realize. You think, it's all fun and games, but it's actually
Like last
work.
week, I had to host because Jordan.
Yeah, you did a good job, man.
It was all right. It was it was okay.
Yeah, you did good.
What I really want to do is plan out a real show, like a big show with like.
Do it.
I mean, everything that I do is 10 times bigger than anything else, than anything anybody else does. So, I have some ideas for some shows in the future, and yeah.
He's better. You should see his flyers. Yeah, theirs are insane.
Well, hey, we're both
Uses they're good.
using the.
You should see the ones inside.
They're okay.
He's an
They're okay.
artist, man.
The only, I draw a little bit, but like I've been using computers since 1998 or something. I mean, I guess you have too, but like I spent a lot of time on computers in the early 2000s, as a teen, and a lot of people, they would be chatting and things like that. I was doing Photoshop and learning how to copy and paste and stuff like that. And
you can do that now?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
That's
well,
awesome.
I mean, like now I know I could put somebody's head on somebody else's body, and
That's
all
awesome.
I've ever
That's all
wanted
you
to
do,
do.
yeah.
Like, and then make it look
Yeah.
realistic. Like some of the flyers I see for the Comedy Mothership, I'm like, God, I could do a better job than that.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't. I mean, I get what they're going for, but it's just probably thrown together really fast.
Go talk to Rogan. Maybe he'll get you.
Yeah.
Get you a gig, man.
Well, I mean, I think one day I'll go to Texas. I do want to go to try it and experience it. I mean,
Texas is fun, man.
Have you been there?
Austin? Yeah, my son lives in Austin, so we go down there all the time.
Oh, you do? Have you
Yeah,
done comedy down there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so
never been at the Mothership, but it's good.
What
It's
else?
fun.
Have you been to
Creek in the Cave?
Sunset Strip?
No, Creek in the Cave.
Nice.
I've done there. I've done a
Nice.
show there, and I've done 2 or 3 open mics. I don't know how many open mics, but it was good. I know a few comics down there, and they
Very
put me on
cool.
shows every once in a while. So, yeah, it's a good place to do comedy, man. It's a lot less liberal than here.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I don't want to use Seattle as an excuse to not be funny.
No,
And
no.
So what I have been really thinking about lately is just like, how do I make something that's maybe a little more universally funny, or maybe just that's less shocking, and maybe save the shocking moments for, peaks and valleys. Like when you're a kid and you first start listening to metal, all you want to listen to is death metal.
Yep.
But then as you get older, you're like, actually, I kind of like how it gets a little quiet for a little bit, and then it changes into this, and then the heavy part comes on. So I'm kind of thinking about that with the jokes, like let's not do, straight just gay and rape jokes.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Which would go great in Texas, I'm sure. But I also, I don't like hurting people's feelings. I like
Right.
comedy. I feel like with roasting should be in good spirit. It shouldn't
That's how I feel, too.
I think that you should be able to tell a joke about somebody without getting too personal.
Yeah.
And if you do get personal, you gotta have a really good relationship with that person. So.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the. I like roasting. I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend to when I write some jokes, man. They're just like, oh my god, I can never use this. Right?
Yeah.
It's just mean. I think you can be. Yeah, I think you can be roast and not be mean spirited.
Yeah. Well, I have some roast jokes in the canon for certain people if they ever want
Nice.
to come after me.
Nice.
So.
I'll come after you tonight.
I'm
if
always
we have
right.
one.
I'm always writing jokes. So.
Yeah.
All right, there's a police officer here. Well,
How many?
just one.
How long have we been going?
We've been going almost an hour and 10 minutes.
Holy
So
shit.
67 minutes now. Yeah,
Come over here.
yeah. Come on in.
I just want to say that I
Here,
love.
no,
You
hold
gotta
on.
hold the mic right up to your face, baby.
Okay. I just want to say that I love all the
Camera's right there.
comedians. I love all the comedians. I've loved watching you guys grow. I got your back.
Oh,
And I would like you watch. I like watching you work through your new stuff. I like when you bring your old stuff back. And I know that you're vulnerable, and then it's hard to do. And my hat is really off to you. And I love that you guys have welcomed me, and that I get to kind of be the, what am I, a little mascot or some
yeah.
shit, something like
Tattooed
that.
Not a
mascot.
groupie.
Not a groupie. Just I care about you guys, and I think you all really great.
So
All I wanted to
besides
say.
Scott, top 3 comedians in Seattle.
Oh dear God, that would put me in trouble.
Yeah. I
No,
would.
no,
You gotta-
and I'm disqualified, so don't even say me. Just say some names.
Who would I say? I don't know. I honestly like so many comics. I couldn't narrow it
All
down
right.
to 3.
All
That's
right.
the truth. That's the truth.
That is the best answer she could possibly give.
It's absolutely the truth.
Well,
a lot of good comics in
the
Seattle.
answer, the real answer
Is
is
Stephen, Michael, and
No.
James.
I'm a little partial to Scott.
That's
I
what you
will
said
say
beside
that.
me.
Besides
beside me.
Scott, yeah.
the 3 best comedians in Seattle are Lil Jeezy Weezy,
I love. I agree with you.
The
Shout
com-
out to Little Jeezy
the
Weezy.
comedy hobbit,
I've only seen him perform once,
and
but
the son of Abraham.
yeah.
That guy is I don't know.
I don't know about him.
No, okay, sorry. Lil Jeezy Weezy. That's not an insult. You are.
No,
you're
Little
awesome.
Jeezy Weezy is awesome, man.
You're
I've seen some
awesome.
of Little Jeezy Weezy's sets that have killed me.
I would like to see Lil Jeezy Weezy and Cruz do a podcast
Oh my
together,
God.
and I will be the only one watching.
You have
I'll
to
watch-
be.
I'd
You'll
watch
have to
that.
be on your game
Yeah.
to get those two talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can you
So-
imagine trying to get those two in a room at the same time?
Well, man, we're here. Looks like the mic's gonna start in a little
Cool,
bit.
man. Well,
Nobody showed up yet.
Thank
so,
you very much for
well,
having us on. I
you
really
got,
appreciate it.
You got any shows coming up? Anything you
Yeah.
wanna promote.
Yeah, I got a show coming up Thursday, the Simon Kaufman Show at
Simon
Shang.
throwing spaghetti.
Throwing spaghetti, baby.
Simon Kaufman, the
Yep.
legend,
The
Seattle
legend.
He's
Where's
on-
it at?
Netflix,
Shanghai
HBO.
Room.
This guy's got it going
He
on.
also
He's
hosts at
funny as
Renton
shit.
907.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Where's
Yeah,
your
I
show,
love that.
babe? Where's your show? What
It's in
day?
Shanghai,
The
Thursday.
Shanghai Room.
Thursday.
Shanghai, Thursday,
Okay.
7 o'clock.
It's on the calendar at
Yeah.
home. I can't remember.
So that's your that's the only show you got so far.
That's the only show I got.
And then
I got
every
coming
Friday,
up every Friday at the
Shanghai Room
Shanghai
on Greenwood.
Greenwood Ave. I do we do have guest hosts in there on a lot of Friday nights. So if you ever
Yeah.
wanted to try your hand at hosting, that's a good room to start at, right?
Absolutely. I don't
Nobody
know if I've-
bombed at the Shanghai room,
Yeah,
right?
That's right,
Yeah.
baby.
I've I don't know if I've hosted there, but I have featured there twice. So-
Nice.
Nice.
I've never featured there.
Really?
But I've hosted
Well,
there.
the first one was kind of a last minute, like, I guess you're the feature tonight. So I'm like, all right, here we go. So, I co-hosted with Nick. So I was a co-host.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was there that night.
Co-host. Yeah. So that was all right, but
Yeah,
But
I've done 15 or 20 minutes there a couple times, but I've never featured. I had to do 15 last week because we ran out of comics. So I wanted to go up.
yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
Well, Scott Coburn Comedy on
That's it.
Instagram,
Yep.
YouTube. You got YouTube? No.
Not really.
TikTok?
Not really.
No.
You
It's just Instagram's the main thing there, but
Yeah.
uses.
Yeah.
So we got Sam's open mic here at the Whiskey
Yeah,
Mile
come up. Seriously, this is
Every-
one of my favorite open mics.
every Thursday. Every Thursday.
Is that Bob Bailey? Oh my God, I haven't seen Bob Bailey and Leah
oh my
and
God!
Jake.
I better leave room for Bob Bailey.
Oh man, talk about my 3 favorite comics
know.
in Seattle.
I don't know. This guy's got a shirt
There's a
that's
camera. There's a
older than me.
There's a camera right there, Jake. Jake,
Yeah.
there's a pod.
Keep it going for. Say their names again.
Bob Bailey.
Bob. Keep
Bob Bailey. Bob, don't stand in front of the camera. Come right over here, buddy.
Keep it going.
Leah. She's from Georgia.
Georgia.
Georgia, not the one on your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep it going. I don't know. It could be.
That's the kind of comedy you can
This'll
expect
be
here at the Whiskey
the
Mile.
most amount of comedians in one episode.
Yeah, right.
So, anyways, wrapping it up, guys. Whiskey Mile here at Kirkland every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Sign up in person, hosted
8
by
o'clock, sign
the
up,
great
9 o'clock
Jordan
show.
Macias. He also does the Vagabond comedy show
Yep.
here. And me, I got no shows. No shows
Nothing,
coming
huh?
up. No. I'm
Showless.
showless. But tomorrow I'm going to go to Remlinger Farm, or is it Remlinger? I'm gonna go to some farm and pick strawberries tomorrow. So
That sounds fun.
I'm looking. It's in Arlington, so I
Really?
don't think it's Remlinger. It's something else, but could be.
We should go pick strawberries.
I'm gonna
baby.
pick strawberries tomorrow. I'll be picking strawberries in Arlington if you want to see me, and then we're probably gonna go to.
Will you be doing jokes?
I will joke about any strawberries that are there. And then on Saturday, we're going to the splash pad in Arlington. My daughter's going to play with her friend at the park and the water. And so if you want to see me there, I'll be there roasting kids. I'm going to roast kids at the splash pad, making fun of their bathing suits.
That's cool. And I'll be at the Shanghai tomorrow night. Come out, see me, see some good comics.
Every Friday. And yeah, other than that, at Stephen MJ Comedy on Instagram, YouTube, at Stephen Michael James on TikTok.
SMJ.
And Comedy Simp. Got a lot more fun stuff coming up, and thanks for the support. All right. There
Cool,
it is.
man. Thanks a lot.
73 minutes. We did it.
73.
All
Damn.
right. Woo.
Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist.